Good morning, weather weenies, meteorologist Serena Arnold. Yesterday was a wild day for tornadoes. I want to tell you why they happened and tell you who needs to be on the lookout today. Storm reports from yesterday. That is a lot of red. 100 tornado reports yesterday. Now, many of those reports were probably of like the same tornado, so they'll have to go through and figure out how many really occurred yesterday. But let's talk about why it happened, because today is going to be a repeat just somewhere else. Yesterday, these were the areas the Storm Prediction Center were most concerned with. Omaha is tucked right in here. See the correlation? And our forecasting stuff is getting good. This is 5 days before the area they were concerned with. So looking at yesterday's forecast models, if you look through the day yesterday, there was going to be just some mess that came through, but it's afterwards. It's these storms right here. These are these isolated supercell thunderstorms that are incredibly deadly, incredibly devastating, that produce these long-lasting tornadoes that we saw yesterday. And the forecast models definitely saw that coming. So why did it happen? Storms like this need three things. They need wind shear, they need lift, they need instability, and they need moisture. Wind shear is how winds at various speeds and directions actually help to twist the atmosphere and help air to move. So if you have a strong southerly wind, but as that goes up in the atmosphere, it becomes more westerly, you're creating shear that actually creates a broad scale rotation this way. You also can have speed shear. So if these winds aren't as fast and these are quicker coming from the west, you can see how this just creates natural rotation in the atmosphere. If you want to know why this matters, check out this storm time lapse from Lori Grace that is killer. Next, you need lift, and that can be provided through something called CAPE, which is convective available potential energy, which is basically if you take air here on the ground and you warm it up, does it have the ability to soar up through the sky with a lot of energy? And yesterday it did. So let's go through the forecast models and show the CAPE values really high, big strong maxima right there in that like Omaha area. Next, we need instability in the atmosphere. I had to change the views to get this one, but this low pressure right here is what's providing that instability. It is no coincidence that right off of the front line of this low, you see that line of supercell thunderstorms develop. And lastly, as all my weather weenies know, clouds are water drops, and so you need moisture. This is dew point temperature and wind barbs, so we can see what it's doing. And this is a fire hose of moisture yesterday into that area. You can see these strong southeasterly winds really pumping incredibly high dew points up into the mid 60s and high 60s yesterday. All the ingredients were there yesterday, and they are again there today, but for a different location. Today's biggest concerns range from like the Dallas-Fort Worth area north through central Oklahoma, up through Tulsa, and all the way into southeastern Kansas. Tornado potential today, possibly higher than yesterday. And this hail potential is wild. This is a 45%. This means that there is a 45% chance of seeing 1-inch diameter hail within 25 miles of any point in that area. Let me say that again. You pick any point within that area, this pink-purple area, and odds are almost 50-50 that you'll be within 25 miles of hail that's 1 inch or greater. If you scroll down and get into the text of this, they are saying strong tornadoes, very large hail over 2 inches in diameter, and widespread damaging winds, some over 70 miles per hour, are expected to occur today. In this area, dew points are in the mid to upper 60s again. Several strong tornadoes will be likely. A few long track EF3 plus tornadoes will be possible. So let's take a look at those same parameters that we saw yesterday and how they're looking today. So let's look at today's forecast dew point, and we can see that it is very high. A couple times we're even seeing that dew point in the southern areas hit 70, which is pretty incredible. Looking at forecast wind shear values, we can see there is some really strong maxima that are happening here in this location as the dry line, which is like a front, but basically this is moist air and this is drier air, pushes through. Really high wind shear on the front side of that. Convective available potential energy, high, not off the charts. You don't want to have too much of a good thing, but definitely noticing some high CAPE values here later today. And as for our instability, if we take a look at the forecast, you can see there's this low. Once again, we're going to be looking for this line that's going to be coming off the front of the low right here, and boom goes the dynamite, right? So here it is. Looks like it's going to turn into a line. They're saying there still could be embedded tornadoes within this once it becomes linear, but what's going to be really interesting are these little cells that pop up here in these locations earlier in the day. There's a slight risk severe weather could continue into Sunday, but there's some uncertainty still because it's going to depend on what happens today over here and the strength of these storms. If you are in these locations, be weather aware today. Remember, a watch means it may happen. A warning means it is happening. If you have any questions about severe weather or storm chasing or anything like that, go ahead and put it in the comments below and I'll try to maintain it this weekend and answer any questions you have.